He wasn't just another contender. He was the standard, the one everyone measured themselves against. Miles Russell's swing was effortless, his rhythm ice-cold, his focus unshakable. That tee box felt like his territory. But tournaments aren't won on reputation alone. Golf has a way of letting unexpected names write their own stories. Favorites can falter, experience can fall short, and sometimes the biggest surprises come from the players no one saw coming. Charlie Woods entered the Team TaylorMade Invitational ranked 606th in the AJA standings. No interviews, no cameras, no buzz. Just another name on the tee sheet, carrying nothing but a famous last name and quiet expectations. His past results showed promise, but nothing remarkable. Yet on this stage, he played with a calm edge, every swing controlled, every hole steady. No flash, no theatrics, just quiet determination in a game where noise means nothing. From quiet expectations, Charlie Woods began carving his own space. His name wasn't on any watch list, but every steady par and precise birdie added weight. Not the weight of fame, but of focus. A 70 on day one made people glance up. A 65 on day two made them stop looking away. This wasn't luck or a hot streak. It was control, rhythm, and a plan long in the making. The son of a legend was no longer living in the shadow of his name. He was writing his own story, and fast. His 8 birdies, flawless iron play, and unshakable rhythm turned a number into a statement. No theatrics, no fist pumps, just pure craftsmanship. While others let mistakes or momentum rattle their pace, Charlie stayed even. Moving like this stage wasn't his biggest test, but his most natural moment. Meanwhile, Miles Russell remained steady at the top. No drama, no surprises. Just as expected. But the buzz had shifted. Russell's dominance was no longer the headline. Charlie's climb was. By Sunday, Charlie Woods was no longer an afterthought. He was the threat everyone was watching. What began as whispers had become headlines, his calm, control, and scores impossible to ignore. His final round of 66 sealed it. 8 birdies, no doubles, barely a mistake. While others tightened under pressure, Charlie sharpened. His 15-under finish didn't just beat favorite Miles Russell at 8 under, it distanced him with authority, a 3-shot margin over the strongest field of the AJA season. Reuters called it a statement win, and Golf Digest noted his veteran-like composure. This wasn't luck or a one-off surge. It was precision, patience, and proof. Charlie didn't play like someone desperate to prove he belonged. He played like someone confirming it. And when the last putt dropped, the silence wasn't disappointment. It was realization. A new name had arrived, not as a shadow of a legacy, but as a force of his own. Just like that, the player in the shadows stepped fully into the spotlight. The score was final, but the real impact had only begun. Within hours of his victory at the Team TaylorMade Invitational, Charlie Woods wasn't being written about as Tiger's son. He was being covered as Charlie the competitor, the breakout, the threat. Sports Illustrated, Golf Digest, and the New York Post all shifted tone. He wasn't a legacy, he was a player to plan for. Clips of his swing spread across social media with words like composure, maturity, and precision, praise usually reserved for college stars or rising pros. Golf Monthly even noted NCAA programs questioning how they'd missed him. Fans followed quickly, the conversation turning from cool to see him to how far can he go? His final round was dissected frame by frame, not against his father's standard, but to study his own rhythm, confidence, and control. This wasn't hype. It was real. Charlie hadn't just surprised a field. He had shifted the landscape. Days later, Reuters reported he had jumped from 606 to 14 in the AJGA rankings. 1 win, 1 week, and junior golf suddenly had a new force to reckon with, not just because of the performance itself, but because of what it signaled. Charlie Woods had arrived. With his new ranking, Charlie Woods secured a spot in the Junior Players Championship at TPC Sawgrass, the same stage where his father once carved history. But this time, it wasn't about shadows or legacy. It was about what he had just begun. A name that once sat quietly on tee sheets now stood on its own, backed by 3 straight rounds under par and a calm, controlled finish. Critics called it a flash, a streak, but the numbers told a different story. And then came the moment no one expected. After the win, when asked the usual questions about focus and mindset, Charlie paused, looked straight into the camera, and said softly, "I know we argue, but I love you." "Dad, this one's for you." Tiger Woods, just off camera, froze. For a man built on composure, the words cracked his armor. It wasn't polished, it wasn't scripted. It was raw, messy, and real. Years of pressure, training, expectation, and silence condensed into one unscripted confession. It was more than a dedication. It was a bridge, a peace offering, a son reaching for his father. What the golf world saw that day wasn't just a victory. It was reconciliation, emotion breaking through the grind, a story far deeper than scores. Witnesses said Tiger stepped away afterward, shaken. Because in that moment, Charlie hadn't just won a tournament. He had finally spoken. Tiger nodded, turned and walked quietly behind the clubhouse to collect himself. No interviews, no smiles, just raw, unfiltered emotion. For a man so often larger than life, it was the most human he had ever looked, and it sent shockwaves through golf. Commentators fell silent, fans choked up, rivals applauded. Charlie's words weren't just a headline. They were a truth no one expected. Because in golf, every swing carries a shadow, and Tiger's shadow is unlike any other. His influence stretches from juniors to tour pros. Even J.J. Spaun credited Tiger's advice during a rain delay at the U.S. Open for fueling his comeback win. If his words can lift pros to titles, imagine the weight they carry at home. But Charlie doesn't just hear Tiger. He lives inside the echo of his career, every shot measured against a legend. That kind of gravity can crush you or forge you. And in this moment, Charlie showed he was being forged. He wasn't trapped in Tiger's shadow. He was casting one of his own. The internet exploded with memes and parallels, Tiger making storms, Charlie creating one of his own, but beneath the jokes was a deeper realization. This wasn't just another tournament, and it wasn't just a tearful father. It was a torch being passed, live and unscripted. The hug, the tears, the quiet stillness, they weren't staged. They were the sign that golf's most famous legacy was no longer just being remembered. It was being reborn. What unfolded was bigger than winning, and everyone watching felt it, even if they couldn't put it into words. Sometimes it takes a storm to clear the view, and this one revealed it plainly. When Tiger cried, the world finally understood. Charlie Woods isn't the future of golf someday. He's the future now. The clip will live online for years, but it won't be the tears that linger. It'll be the weight of what they meant. The next great chapter in golf wasn't teased or hinted at. It was written right in front of us. Nobody expected Charlie to deliver that moment, not even Tiger. Just a few years ago, Charlie first captured attention not with a club, but simply by mirroring his father at the PNC Championship, dressed the same, swinging the same, walking the same. A viral sensation before he had even proven anything under pressure. Back then, the media didn't call him Charlie. They called him Tiger's son. He hadn't earned the spotlight, he had inherited it. And with every glance, every high five, every quiet nod from his father, the bar rose higher. This wasn't about becoming a good junior golfer. This was about chasing a myth. And in chasing that myth, he became the mystery. Was it real talent or just genetics in motion? Fast forward to June 2025 at the 108th Florida Amateur Championship. The crowd was modest, but the presence on the sideline was towering. In a golf cart under the Florida sun sat Tiger Woods, a man who had conquered everything, yet was now watching something he couldn't control. His son, navigating pressure on his own. No coaching, no tips, no interruptions. Just Tiger watching, proud, quiet, present. And in that silence, it became clear. This wasn't about legacy anymore. It was about Charlie. This wasn't about a rival with fanfare. It was about presence. Charlie Woods didn't storm into the spotlight. He walked into it, hole by hole, with restraint, control, and an absence of errors. At Balin Isles, he looked less like a kid trying to prove something and more like someone who already knew who he was becoming. He wasn't chasing Tiger, he was channeling him. And if the world hadn't realized it yet, Stream Song made it undeniable. Coming into the AJGA Team Tailor-Made Invitational ranked 604th, Charlie wasn't on anyone's radar. 3 days later, he was the only name that mattered. A 15-under total, capped with a closing 66 and 8 birdies, didn't just beat the nation's best juniors, including top-ranked Miles Russell, it dismantled them. It wasn't a fluke. It was proof. Headlines from ESPN and Golf Digest couldn't capture the full shift. For the first time, Charlie wasn't Tiger's son. He was a contender, a threat, his own name. And the juniors who had once treated Woods as nostalgia now saw it as competition. Weeks later, at the Florida Amateur Championship, the presence of one quiet figure changed everything. Tiger Woods, still recovering from a torn Achilles, appeared at Balin Isles without fanfare. No press, no entourage, just a man in a cart, sunglasses low, sitting near the ropes. He didn't coach, didn't analyze, didn't interfere. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees, following every set.